Alright, what is going on, my dudes? We are finally back here today with the Rank 5 showcase for SpiderMan 2099. So, if you've been following my channel for almost any length of time at this point, you guys know how important and special this champion is to me. I love this guy so much, one of my favorite champions in the entire game, one of my favorite playstyles, one of my favorite champions to use, and he's absolutely incredible on top of all of it. So, one thing that makes this whole thing even sweeter is that I rushed Eternity of Pain day one, got it done in a few hours, and I was like, hey, can you guys check? Was this the first one? Turns out I had the first ever rank 5 6-star SpiderMan 2099, so that felt really great to see, man. So we're gonna jump in today for some rank 5 gameplay. We have a bunch of endgame bosses. We're jumping into Act 7, some Act 6, some Act 8. We're doing some Gauntlet. We're gonna have a lot of fun today. Apologies for this taking so long. I've been very busy lately, and these videos take a very long time to put together, but regardless, we're gonna start jumping in with one of my favorite fights in this entire video here. It's going to be Act 7.2 Dragon Dude. So, this guy has like 600,000 health, right? And he's got stunning reflection, so you can't really parry him, okay? Or else you're gonna get stunned and then you're gonna die, okay? I love fighting Dragon Man and other mystic champions with Spidey. Dragon Man especially has got that constant flow of power. We're going to bait out the special one here. No, we're not actually. We're going to keep stacking on the exhaustions. Okay, we want 5 exhaustions on this guy so that we can reverse his power by quite a bit. And we're making our way up to 5 exhaustions and a wither. And we're very close to another special 2. So here we go. We're almost done ramping up here against this guy. A special 2, going to do a decent amount of damage on its own. But this is where the magic and the fireworks start. We're going to hit his block while he's at 0 power. And he's going to drop dead because we are giving him power as he's losing power. So this is happening at the bottom of his power bar, and when that happens, the ruptures burst every single time it happens. It is my favorite interaction in the entire game. Speaking of it, let's jump into 7.4 Mango freaking Eggnog, dude. So I love fighting Mango Eggnog with Spidey. I've done this fight so many times on node 54 in Alliance 4. This is a bit of a bigger one. This is Act 7.4 Mangog. Same kind of thing here. I want to stack up those exhaustions. I want to keep the wither on him. I want to keep all of my stuff paused, right? That's what I want to do when I'm fighting Mango, okay? And here, I'm going to go for another special 2 so I could stack on another wither here, okay? And then we're going to pretty much flush this guy down the toilet very, very quickly here. So as you can see, kind of like against Dragon Dude, that power bar is going in the opposite direction, all right? So once that unstoppable goes away, here we go. Watch his health bar. Look at his health bar. Look what happens. Literally my favorite interaction in the entire game by a lot. Flushed right down the toilet there, man. Oh my god. So I want to talk a little bit about the team that we're using in this video here today. Mr. Fantastic was brought along. I ended up only using him like 2 to 3 times. In fact, he wasn't even included on the team for a lot of these. But basically, Spidey Special 2 does extra burst damage based on the amount of debuffs that you have on the defender. So this is probably the best 5-some for Spidey. Like if you want, I could have put Mr. Fantastic debuffs on all these bosses. It would have made his damage higher. You really don't need it. His damage is really good on its own. He's actually a lot better with suicides than people think. He's quite suicide friendly depending on how you play him, right? I actually like him with them. But yeah, the important synergy here, the only one that you really need with Spidey is Anti-Venom. That pretty much allows you to start with your Wither debuff on the opponent so you can immediately start hitting the block. Really great synergy. On top of that, Scorpion gives you a chance to place an additional Rupture debuff while hitting the block when there's a Wither on the opponent, and the more Withers you have, the higher chance you have to apply additional Ruptures. That's a nice synergy as well. You definitely do not need it. And then Spidey Supreme increases his pause timer by 3 seconds. Again, you definitely don't need it. So everything that you see in this video could pretty much be done with just Spidey and Anti-Venom, but hey man, you get 5 slots. All right, moving on to another champion I love to fight with Spidey 2099. We have Mojo here. So this is the Mojo in 7.4. I love the class advantage fights here with a few synergies, man, with the suicides on. Look at the PI on Spidey. There are no boosts here. That is almost 34 24k on the PI with no boost, man. If I put boost on this guy, man, we'd probably be close to like 37,000. I'm almost curious. I don't want to waste a boost to see, but I'm almost curious, man. I'm always curious if we put on like a 30%. Oh my god. But anyway, oscillate on this Mojo. So what we're doing here is we're taking advantage of the defensive nature of him, right? To go ahead and stack on those ruptures. Look at this. One cycle through and Mojo's down below 50% health already, dude. Oh my goodness gracious. He's just about flushed down the toilet. Now at this point, what I'm going to be doing is rushing up to another special 2 and stacking this on before he switches into the armor phase. And he is done during the special 1. He just drops dead. He just falls backwards in his little chair. You absolutely love to see it. Up next, we're jumping into another champion that we love to fight with Spidey. We have Ebony Maw. This is 8.1 Ebony Maw. Now there's also heavy assault here. Now, the way I fight Maw with Spidey is I counter a special 1 with a heavy. So if we were to crit, a nice solid 65k crit on heavy assault here, which is just absolutely lovely, truly, right? So we continually just bait that special 1 and we just knock him down with the heavy attack, right? We don't have to worry about the falter too much like that. Just really, really solid stuff. We have 2 withers up, only 2 ruptures up because we're focused so much so on baiting out that special 1. We're going to go for our special 1 to stack on some physical vulnerability onto him, which is just absolutely lovely. Increase our damage just that much more, right? Can we get another crit with the physical vulnerability up? That would be definitely really nice to see, right? Gotta watch out for that unstoppable during heavy assault. But now that we're hitting this block, we could stack on a few more of our ruptures. Here we go. Some more heavies in the corner. We're looking for that crit. But oh my god, we threw the special 2 right into his unstoppable heavy attack. So you definitely got to watch out for that on heavy assault. But here we go, man. Again in the corner, countering the special 1 with our heavy attack. No more crits. 71k. It went up a bit. It went up a bit from the 3 physical resistance, man, or vulnerability. Nice. You love to see it. Up next, 7.2 Nova. So he's surprisingly very, very good for Nova because Nova gains power when you dash forward. The thing with Spidey is that if there is passive power, he's going to be a good option for the fight, and there's a lot of passive power. Passive power is one of the most annoying things in the entire game to deal with, right? And he's just very, very good for it because he keeps that under control. It keeps, even if they have a ridiculous amount of power, it's just going to keep it under control. And his power ceiling is very, very, very high. So you get 125% per wither and then 15% per exhaustion. Those both stack up to 5, right? Really, really solid stuff. Just really solid stuff here. So this Nova is pretty much locked down. I mean, look at his power bar at this point, right? He's got the power gain buffs going. He has this natural power gain when he dashes in. We're just kind of just battering him in the corner here. He auto blocks us, but we don't even mind because then we can continue smashing his block, right? And when we do that, we're placing the ruptures. So yeah, just really solid stuff here. I don't really know why I paused. Oh, I know why I paused. I wanted to let his power go down so it would explode. You love to see it. Another cosmic champion against passive power is Super-Skrull. This is 7.4 Super-Skrull. It's got bullet time here. We don't have suicides on for this fight. Lovely. So once you put those 5 buffs on him, he gains that power gain, right? So now it's not a massive power gain, but it's enough to keep him in check here. It's enough to keep him in check where what happens on this node is that he goes stun immune. He goes stun immune when he throws his special attack, right? And that's bad because we can't put the passive stun on him, right? That's essentially what's going on there, right? Now here, we're just kind of controlling the fight and not really messing around with bullet time too much. You know, with bullet time, when you parry, right, they're stun immune and you get that charge, and then when you dex, they get the passive stun. So it's an interesting node here. We're kind of just treating this like an enormous Super-Skrull. That's really what we're doing, and it's going very, very effectively. Now, when the playstyle calls for hitting into block like Spidey, right, that little falter that he gets goes away when you hit their block, and as you can see, he does a very solid job against this Super-Skrull here. So, here, one of our ruptures is not paused. But we had a pause icon up. That is an interesting little thing there. I wonder what that's about. I don't know. But anyway, I'm trying to get, there we go. I'm trying to get that passive stun because there is stun vulnerability here as well, right? So take advantage of that a little bit. Stack on another wither, right? Yeah, it's going pretty darn good so far. Get rid of that falter. We got to get a pause going. There we go. So it is an interesting node for him because you want to avoid dexing until you're ready to passively stun them. There aren't too many nodes with bullet time, but this is one of them. You know, so depending on how you want to play this fight, it could go really kind of either way, but you do really want to keep those debuffs up. See, like right there, I had to dex, you know, but I mean, hey, we're at close to a full yellow bar and he's pretty much dead. There we go. All the ruptures burst, you know? So yeah, good stuff, man. Interesting fight. Super-Skrull is an annoying defender, and Spidey is actually surprisingly quite good for him because of that passive power gain he gets. If you just hit into his block, don't have to worry about too much against him, okay? So, up next, man, we're jumping into the 3 fights that really made me fall in love with Spider-Man 2099. Back when I pulled him, it was right before 7.3 came out. And then 7.3, I think it's 7.3.4, there are 3 mystic bosses with passive power gain that Spidey does really, really well. So let's jump right into it here. Sorcerer Supreme, man. Sorcerer Supreme. Now, we are running Suicides here, and she has the Staggering Beauty node, and as soon as we get 1 Stagger debuff, she's going to go unblockable for the rest of the fight. But that is okay, because look at those sweet moves. We got her in the corner with a heavy attack. We're stacking on a 2nd Rupture, and now at this point, we want to be hitting that block to stack up those Ruptures just like Dragon Dude, just like Mangog, right? She actually does gain some combat power when you hit her, just a very, very, very small amount. So what's happening here is the Wither is reversing more than she gains, and it is a very, very powerful interaction here between Spidey and Sorcerer Supreme, and she is just flushed right down the toilet there. We also have Doctor Strange in the same chapter here. Now, this Doctor Strange is interesting. You can't really hit him with the armor up buff on because it'll give you thorns damage, but you can hit his block. You can hit his block, but regardless, what we want to do is stack on these ruptures. We have to stack on these ruptures, okay? Now, once we have 20, they're pretty much going to be staying there. We can kind of do this in the corner all day as long as we do a little dex every now and then, right? We don't really have to worry about anything. We can go for a special 2 for some nice burst damage, or the special 1. We got a little bit of reverberation back there, not that big of a deal. The special 1 is going to decrease his physical vulnerability. Those can stack up to 15 times. So when you stack all 15, it starts to do some really mega damage. However, there's nothing in this video that's going to require that. We have some fights that are over 1,000,000 health, and you absolutely do not need to stack that high, because as you can see, the damage is quite good, especially at rank 5 and when you are running Suicides as well. So as you can see, right, if you want to be using him for an entire path, depending on how you want to play him, with Suicides he could certainly be okay, but if you're using him for like 1 or 2 fights, he's absolutely fantastic with them, especially if it's like a boss fight like this, right? But also, if you're going into control power and you're pretty much not using special attacks, you're going to be hitting the block, right? So if you run Coagulate as well with the Suicide Masteries, then you're going to be losing about 5 to 6% of your health per fight, 5 fights per lane, so much extra damage. Good stuff. Stunks, right? Up next, we have Sim Supreme. This is an interesting one. So this has Ebb and Flow knockdown, right? So what I actually want to do is I want to throw my special 2 at the right time to trigger Ebb and Flow knockdown right before he gains his burst of power. So watch, I'll show it to you right here. Watch his little pink passive. We're going to go for the special 2 right here as he's starting to gain that power, right? And now what we're going to be doing here is he has the Wither on, so watch his power. We're going to be taking advantage of this, so he's not going to be getting his passive power. We have our Fury passive. We're not too concerned with the ruptures here or pausing anything, because with Ebb and Flow protection, he's just gonna go ahead and gain, gain that debuff immunity right when the Ebb and Flow knockdown protection comes back. So what we want to do here is we want to put on the Wither and the Exhaustion to control his power in the meantime, while setting up the special 2 here. That way, right when things change, we can control that power. Don't have to worry about anything. Don't have to worry about baiting out his specials. Don't have to worry about him getting the special 3. We can just keep cycling this process of building the special 2 with the heavy attack in the meantime, right? And special 2 again, just in time to get rid of the Ebb and Flow knockdown and also set up that Wither incredible. And look at that. We're ending at 69% health. You love to see it. All right, now we're jumping into the fight that we usually start with. Now that we went through all of these Spidey-centric fights, we have another Spidey-centric fight, though. We have 6.2 Mordo here. 6.2 Mordo, and we have the White Magneto pre-fight on here, and our PI is even higher here. I just recorded this fight. The last fight I recorded. I'm wondering what I did differently with masteries, possibly, because I was recording other stuff. No Busan still. I just really want to get him like close to 40,000. So I'm really curious how I could do that. But regardless, Mordo flushed right down the freaking toilet, man. Flushed right down the toilet like there's no tomorrow. Up next is a very tough fight here. We have the champion boss. Now, the champion boss with Spidey is definitely a very interesting thing to do. Now, he does have a slow debuff on his special 3, and that was initially the plan here. But what we're going to be doing instead is we're going to be taking advantage of these Mr. Fantastic pre-fights. We're going to be going for some big special 2s with the suicides on instead for some big juicy damage. How about that? We knocked him down kind of to refresh those debuffs after his special 1 while he was unstoppable, and now look at the special 2 draining this guy down below 50% health after the combo, just about, right? Really not too bad. Here we go. We're gonna bait out that special 1. We're gonna have to do a little parry and a little heavy. Right? Oh, the debuffs are falling off? I don't care. I guess I don't care about the debuffs falling off. That's okay. That's totally okay. We don't care about it. We just don't care. They're going to fall off. We're going to go for a special 2, and we're going to have a good time. So we're backing up into the corner a little bit here. We're doing some Quake style right into a light attack wall bank, and we're going to go for a special 2, and that special 2 is going to bring him down to 19% health. Gotta bait out the special 2 after we bring him to the final 10%, and we got the first dex. We're immune to buffs, but we could still dex here in the final 10%. Let's get him to the special 1, bait this bad boy out, and there is our second dex. Gotta get him up above a bar of power, and it's going to be GG's to the champion boss. One more right over here. There we go, and you're done. How about a special 2 to finish it off? The champion flushed right down the toilet. See you later, buddy. Okay, man. Oh, freaking K. Let's move on back to Act 7. We have Weapon X. Now, this is like that fight that I go to test out some big damage, right? So this is an interesting fight. I'm going to stack on all of my ruptures before I trigger any of his rage stacks. However, I messed up right there, and he got 1. So now if he uses a heavy attack, right, he's going to go ahead and like double that. And this is a little interesting here, because here's where there's an interesting node that happens quite often in this game. It's called aggressive, okay? And when you're trying to hit the block, it's a lot tougher to hit the block with Spidey, Masakre, Valkyrie, other champions who want to hit block when they're so aggressive, because they excel at dashing, right? So you dash back, right? And you hold block, and they kind of like go in at you with their dash attack here. But look at this, man. He's down to 64% health when he triggers his Berserk for the first time. Really not too bad. How about that right there? I was like, you know what? Fine, you want to be aggressive? I'm going to intercept you with my heavy attack. He didn't go for it. He didn't fall for it. He's too smart for that. But we're going to go for a slow combo instead. And Berserk is done. And we're going for another special 2. He's down to 33% health. These ruptures are ticking very highly on top of the burst damage, doing a lot every single time he crosses a bar of power. One more special 2. This fight is over. This fight is so over. However, I look like I'm taking it very, very slow here, but I just got to get to a special 2, and he is flushed right down the toilet. You're done. You are done, my friend. That was a very, very efficient takedown of a 600,000 health Weapon X in Act 7. Very solid stuff. Now, we're going to jump into the Grandmaster's Gauntlet. We have 4 fights in Grandmaster's Gauntlet, and we're going to have a very fun time for all of them. The first one is great. We have Gauntlet Vision. Now, of course, we have Anti-Venom here, which isn't always easy to bring on a Gauntlet team every time. However, it makes Spidey absolutely insane in here for a lot of fights, especially for this one, right? Because we shut down his power gain right away. So this has the node where he's going to be going special 1, special 2, special 3. So we'll never see a special 1 again here, right? But every time a synthesis happens, we're going to be reversing his power because of the wither and the exhaustions, right? So we have 4 withers on, we have four exhaustions on, we have the 1 wither on, now we have 5, right? So we have about 200% reduction right there, brought it up to 325% reverse power with that special 2. And now that he threw his special 2, we're pretty much home free here. Unless we push him to a special 3, this fight is basically over, and Vision's down below 50% health at this point. We're doing those big heavy attack crits here. We are free to just chain that heavy attack in the corner. We're going to go for another special 2 for the burst damage and to stack on another wither for even more reverse power gain. Look at how Synthesis took him from above 2 bars down to almost 0 power, and the Scorpion synergy is absolutely great. Scorpion amazing in Gauntlet on his own, and also so good for that synergy in the longer fights when you stack on additional ruptures as well. So very, very solid there. Up next, we have Dragon Man. Gauntlet Dragon Man. Now this Dragon Man is an absolute joke when you have Spidey with Anti-Venom on the team. So very similar to the first fight that I showed you overall in this video. We're going to have the same exact strategy. I fought Dragon Man more times than I can count with Spidey, and oh my goodness gracious, I love it so much. All right. So I like to stack on those exhaustions any way we can, chaining it in the corner, countering a special 1 with the heavy attack. That's great. We're going to go for the special 2 for the extra wither. He's now down below 50% health, and the final exhaustion is now placed. At this point, he doesn't have the power charge on because we made it stop for a second so we could finish setting up because we took the hit on the block, but now he's at 0 power and he is just exploding every single time we hit his block. Check it out, from 29% with 1 combo all the way down to 12%. Guess what? 1 more, you're done. Flushed right down the toilet. Oh my goodness gracious. Gauntlet Mojo coming right at you. Now, this guy has physical resistance here, which is a little unfortunate because it's going to lower our damage by just a bit. We still get through this very, very efficiently. There's also Staggering Beauty. So Staggering Beauty is going to pretty much heal us the entire fight with willpower, which is great. It's you know, Staggering Beauty, I believe the staggers interact with the buffs on Mojo's degen, I believe, but of course we're immune to buff, so we never have to worry about that degen. I've never really fought him with like a non-buff immune champ though, so I'm not entirely sure how that operates with the staggers on Mojo. But regardless, this is a very, very large, beefy Mojo here, right? He's very aggressive. He's jumping at us, right? But we're stacking on those ruptures. We have 2 withers here, and we're just getting this guy down very, very efficiently. Very efficiently, while also healing, by the way. We're healing from those staggers. I fought this guy with Spidey. I've done Gauntlet like 4 times now because of all the times of reset, right? I always use Spidey form. He's so good for this fight. He's so good for the Mystics and Gauntlet, dude. He's so good for it, dude. He's so good. He just shuts them all off. When you don't have buffs, there's really not much that Mojo can do, especially when he can't even place his hater buffs on you. You don't have to worry about his prompts. Now, one other thing about Mojo is that when he completes his prompts, he gains power. But watch, he's not going to gain power because we have all these withers on him. There's really not much he can do against us here at all. So Spidey is an absolutely premium Mojo counter. And an even better Sasquatch counter. Now, once you do that first heavy attack, it's done. The fight is just done, man. Because Sasquatch is never going to gain his Wrath charges. He's never going to go into Wrath of Tanarak, whatever the heck anything he does is called, man. There's really nothing he can do against us here. So we're going to stack on some of these physical vulnerability debuffs. And the reason why is because this node has a life cycle. So we're actually missing out on the damage over time from the ruptures. So we're going to be really relying on those big rupture bursts. By the way, that was 60k on the burst. So we had like 19 with 1 physical vulnerability stack up from the special 1, 65k with the full 20. That is quite a lot. This Sasquatch has about 1 million health. This is the biggest Sasquatch in the entire game, except for ones you might find in later rooms of incursions. And oh my god, those Sasquatches are just absolutely insane. But for actual, like, you know, placed Sasquatches, this is probably the biggest one in the entire game, probably the toughest one in the entire game. And we're just snuking them down, man. We're down by about 500,000 health at this point, right? The special one is great to bait out because you always have to do that little dex there, and you always pause your debuffs with it, right? And I mean, guys, he's just melting at this point, even without the damage over time, going for the special 2 burst, right? You get the extra additional burst per debuff. If we had the Mr. Fantastic pre-fights on for this fight, that would be great. However, there is the hard knock life, so you do have to watch out for that, for like, you know, parry heavy and stuff like that. So it's just, you know, we don't really need it. And plus, I mean, you're not fitting Mr. Fantastic on the team if you're not using him. But yeah, here we go. He's done. He's flushed right down the toilet. It's over. It's over, man. Just flushed right down the toilet like there's no tomorrow. He's gone. That giant wildebeest is just clogging up that toilet. There is no way around it, man. All right, up next, we have a very fun and interesting fight. And this one's a bit long. This is a fight that I don't recommend you do. It's a fight that took many attempts, and it's the type of fight where I kept doing it over and over until I got it to work, right? So this Rhino, he has a node called Meltdown, and that basically is every time you hit him, you gain a Meltdown charge, and then when you knock the opponent down, all those Meltdown things explode on you. There's also Power Shield. Now, Power Shield is going to let us still do our burst of damage. However, our actual hits aren't going to be doing anything. So, on top of that, there's also Matador. So, we're going to push him above bar power here. Did about 10% in that cycle. Not too bad, right? What we're going to be doing here is putting the exhaustion on him, right? We took a little bit of meltdown damage right there, but we gave him a little bit of power. What we're going to be doing is continuing this cycle. I'm not going to make you watch the whole thing because it's long, right? We're doing this cycle up to a special 3, okay? Now, there is Power Shield here. We have a bunch of debuffs on, and now we're going to be placing a slow debuff on. Now, the slow debuff is going to be great because it's not going to make him unstoppable anymore, right? It's also going to count as 4 unique debuffs, and that's going to be great for the burst damage on the special too. So at this point, right, we got to bait out one more special attack here. Gonna go in, do the cycle one more time. Just one more time here. We're just playing it extra safe with the meltdown charges, right? He's down to 40% health. And now what we're gonna do is I want to set it up so I can push him up above a bar of power with Power Shield when I use the special 2, and he's flushed. And he's flushed. Didn't even have to push him above bar power. That took about 2.5 minutes. It's definitely a little bit longer than the other fights in this video. I don't recommend you do it. There are better options, but that Rhino is a very, very tough fight. And when I went in, I was like, I really think I could do this fight with that strat. It ended up working. Lots of fun. I don't recommend it, but lots of fun. All right, up next, 6.3 Iron Man Infinity War. Now, going back into Act 6 with rank 5 6 stars is a trip and a half. We also have the Mr. Fantastic pre-fights here, right? For a little bit extra firepower. Like I said, we use it occasionally. Now, the Mr. Fantastic debuffs are so good for him because of the special 2 burst, and also all of the ruptures, they're going to be gaining additional potency. So look at this, man. This guy is flushed. So hard down the toilet. And yes, it is a rank 5. That's why the majority of this video is like Gauntlet, Act 7, Act 8, stuff like that. But we also have a decent amount of Act 6 as well because it's fun to go into Act 6 and just curb stomp those bosses sometimes, you know? We have Hela here though in 7.1, and this one has heavy assault, so we gotta watch out for her unstoppable heavy attack. There's also Lazarus, but we can go in with the Despair Mastery on, but Spidey obviously has a very, very solid synergy with the Despair Mastery because of all of the debuffs that he has. 70k heavy attacks, man. Just very solid stuff there with the heavy assault node. Just so fun. So fun and so solid, right? We actually are going to stop before the special 2 so we can go for additional heavy attacks even when they don't crit. Solid stuff, all right? So she's just about dead here. We're going to finish it off with the heavy attacks, all right? There is counter strike, so we have to watch out for that unblockable now, but that's okay. She's going indestructible. We have Despair working nicely for that Lazarus. We got the stand-up intercept, and we're going to finish it off with the special one. Bam! Flushed right down the toilet there with the big yellow numbers. Oh my god. You know, speaking of heavy assault, it's just so much fun. Let's go for Heavy Assault Tigra here in 7.2, man. So Same kind of thing. You know, we're going to be going for those big yellow heavy attacks. 66k, good stuff. Forgot about the 10k mediums here with the class advantage and suicides on. Definitely not too bad. Oh my god, but those big heavy attacks on heavy assault, that is the fun stuff. When those crit, it's just absolutely lovely. Look, we're stopping before the special 2 because the heavy attacks are so much fun to use. Look at that. We're going to even throw the special 2. Nope, we're going to heavy cancel into special 2. The special 2 overall definitely still does more damage, but those heavy attack crits, oh my goodness gracious, man, that's a lot of fun. So, up next, 7.4 Sabertooth. Now, this is an interesting one that Spidey actually counters quite well. So, it has a bleed immunity, I guess, to like counter Archangel. Cool. I mean, like, all right, you know. So this node, it's called like Adrenochrome or something like that. And when he uses a special attack, he's going to gain a big passive fury for like 20 seconds, something like that. But for every debuff that's on the defender, it lasts for 1 second less. So that passive fury is already gone. So he's pretty much just like an absolutely enormous Sabertooth in a way that you also can't reverse his power. So yeah, all the debuffs that we have on him are definitely putting in a lot of work. A lot of work, and it's a big, like, 700,000 health, give or take, Sabertooth, something like that, right? So yeah, definitely really, really solid stuff here. Gonna go for the special 2. Nice. We don't have suicides on for this, by the way. So doing a lot of damage even without them. 40k bursts on the ruptures, crossing the power bar, right? Lots of damage on this guy, especially at SIG 200, dude. Like, you definitely do want him to be at a high SIG to be doing this damage output, because without a doubt, watch this. This is great. This is great. 1% health. What do you think's gonna happen here? We're at 94% health. He's at 1%. Do you think we're gonna survive? What do you think? Amazing. You love to see it. You love to see it. Up next, 6.4 Hydra Adaptoid. All right, this is also an interesting one. This AI was being really, really wonky in the beginning of this fight. I'm like, yo, relax, man. He's diving at me with the knees. He's going full Captain Falcon, going full Falcon kick on me. I'm like, my guy, what are you doing, man? Like, what are you doing? He's got that power gain. There's Matador here. Lots of notes going on here. There's Limber, right? He goes unstoppable after his special attacks, right? It's an interesting thing here because I want to get to that special 3 so that I can put a slow debuff on him. But at the same time, I want to keep my Wither on so I can keep the Ruptures on and take advantage of the power gain so I can do that kind of thing. But I guess I'll do some heavy chains in the corner. That's definitely a solid way to go about it as well. A nice bit of lag there. Watch out for the unstoppable. All right, but as you can see, he's just about dead. So I'm saying to myself, maybe I should just like go for a special 2 or something and just like kind of just nuke him down like this. That seems like the move. Yeah, I'm gonna go for a special 2, do big damage, right? And he's just about dead. Like, crossing him over a bar of power is just about gonna finish him off. We're trying to bait out a special attack so he can gain some power gain. Look at that. Look at all the power reversal. Oh, it drained him all the way down and he just fell over, man. So up next, we have a very cool fight. We have 6.3 Havoc, and this has Cornered. Ruptures are damaging debuffs. So with Cornered, it's going to interact in a way where it's going to really push him up in power. However, Havoc's always gaining power, right? So what's going to happen here is we're going to be stacking on that power reversal. So it's going to be doing this kind of thing. So every time that happens, right? What's going to happen every time that happens, guys? We're going to be pushing him above and below a bar of power, and we're giving him ruptures, and we're bursting them as it happens. Really, really, really cool, man. Just really, really cool interaction there. Very, very cool. So you can kind of just like, you know, turtle up a little bit, bait out those heavy attacks, bait those special 2s. Really, really cool Havoc fight right there. Up next, we have 6.4 Ragnarok, my buddy. So this guy's got like that flow of power, you know, and I feel like there's so much power in this game that we don't even like recognize all the time. Like, every time you hit this guy 20 times, he's going to gain that passive flow of power. However, with Spidey here, what are you doing, man? He's just like dancing a little bit. Like, what are you doing, my guy? So every time, right, you want to like use a special attack so that way that power goes away. But with Spidey, it's going to be a good thing for him to have that power, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to build up to about a special 2. We're going to stack on some exhaustions. We got the second Wither. And now we're going to let it happen. We're going to let it happen here. So check it out. Boom. And look at his power. Look at his power. It's gone. He's got nothing. He's got nothing. And in the time when he's got nothing, you could probably get in like 10 more hits if you really wanted to, right? So you can kind of keep him in this cycle of just hitting him, right? If ever there's like a big Thor Ragnarok that's like really hard in the future, right? Like an Eternity of Pain style thing, you know, you can kind of like go through this cycle of hitting him the 20 times and just being very, very aggressive and not worrying about anything in regards to his power, right? And again, we're going to do the same exact thing right here. Bait out a special attack or even go in. Doesn't matter. Look at his power. It doesn't matter. And every time he crosses it, he's going to have a burst from the ruptures. So just really solid stuff there, man. Very solid stuff. So up next is a very annoying fight. This fight is like really easy with Scorpion, Spider-Pig, and Torch. And then it's just like a pain in the ass, but like every other champion the entire game. Spidey is like okay for it because like there's the big bursts that happen during her special attacks. But basically she takes like no damage except for she takes like plus 400% damage whenever she's using a special attack. So watch, it's going to happen after this, right? So yeah, like it's like he's fine for it here, but also like she gains power every single time we hit her. So it takes a while to get her to that special one for that to happen. So he's okay for the fight. Like he's definitely really good for the fight. But this fight is just like an annoying, it's just annoying as it is, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, we're gonna go for the special 2 here, and we're gonna stack on another Wither, and yeah, she's gonna be taking a decent amount of burst damage afterwards, and that happens, spoiler alert, a few more times, and the fight doesn't get less annoying, spoiler alert. So one more special 1, and then she's gonna drop dead. And this fight, every time I do it, I don't enjoy it. It's long and it's annoying. Up next, 6.1 Ultron. Now, this is actually a great matchup for Spidey because this guy, Ultron, here has EMP modification. And you might be saying to yourself, but Mike, Spidey isn't shock immune, you silly idiot. And I'd say to you, well, with EMP modification, you pretty much are shock immune if you're buff immune because you'll never ever trigger it because no matter what, you will not gain a buff that will trigger it. Now, there are certain things in this game, like for example, like Wiccans neutralize messes up buff immune champions, which is silly. Rintra's also neutralize, let's just say neutralize as a whole messes up buff immunity, which is really silly. But this, for example, right? EMP modification is not going to be messed up by buff immunity, and you pretty much are completely immune to it. He also has Spite, completely immune to that. He also has backup recovery, shuts that down right away. Spidey is one of, if not the best options for this Ultron here. He is very, very, very solid for the fight here because there's a lot of things going on that makes this fight very punishing. Very punishing, and Spidey does a great job of countering all of it. Every single aspect of it. So, funny story. We have this 6.4 Iceman coming up, and I usually bring him like Nick Fury and Punisher 2099 for the debuff immunity, but apparently that's a debuff. Or, I mean, it's a buff. Apparently it's like a debuff immunity buff. So, we're just taking the cold snap here. Like, we're just straight up cold snapping away. But that's okay. It took off like 40% of our health, so it's not that big of a deal. There's Matador here, right? So we're going to be building up that special 2 very easily right after getting that heavy attack off for the exhaustion debuff. You love to see it. You love to see it, man. The extra debuff for the special 2 burst. Can we get the special 1 Iceman? Come on, Bobby. Give it to me, man. Give me the special 1. There we go. Gonna go right in for the special 2. You love to see that burst. Nice, and go right in, and he's just about flushed down the toilet here. Stack on those ruptures once more. Get the light intercept. Bait out the special 1. Finish off with the special 2, and he's done. He's gone. So up next, we have Old Man Logan. This is an interesting one. This has that fight, I think it's called Now You See Me, or Faltering Mind, I think it's called, where every like 10 hits in the combo meter, we're going to gain a falter debuff, or passive, or whatever, where we can't hit him. However, if we just hit his block, right, we don't really have to worry about that, which is just absolutely lovely. Also, we're going to be doing some big burst damage every time we pass him over a bar of power. He's already down to 80% health. He also has Lazarus, right, on this node. So Lazarus, again, we're going to cut that right off with the Despair Mastery. Great mastery. Also, another great mastery for Spidey, by the way, is going to be Inequity, because of all those debuffs, right? Really increases his tankiness quite a bit, right? So yeah, man, this guy who got that falter on us, just one of them, that is totally okay. He's down to about 50% health. We're 10 hits in. We're straight chilling here, man. We are absolutely chilling. We're just hitting that block, but letting the damage over time take him down, and watch the burst when we bring him over a bar. Oh, it is beautiful. It is beautiful. He's down to 35% health. We can build up to a special 2 and end it that way, right? We gotta just watch the combo meter a little bit. Go for some heavy attacks for some extra bursts of power, right? And he's down to 15% health. Should we intercept with the special 2, or should we hit the block a few more times? I don't know. What are we gonna do? He's down to... Oh, we got hit! We got hit! Watch out! Man down! Man down! It's okay. It's totally fine. Not to worry. Not to worry. He's done. He's done. Should have thrown the special 2. Should have thrown the special 2. So up next, we have 6.1 Loki. And this is an interesting one, because Loki is certainly not a hard defender. However, he does have that passive power gain, quite like Dragon Man and Sorcerer Supreme and all the other fun stuff. And all it takes is like the worst node combo in existence for Loki to be a really tough defender. A really tough fight, right? So if you give him the worst node combo ever, right, Spidey can be pretty darn good once you stack on those exhaustions. Look at how it's going to reverse the power even faster. Beat out of the special 1, and now he's pretty much at no power, right? So now if we hit him a few times, look at that. Oh, he's done. He's flushed right down the toilet, hitting that block. You'll love to see it. Up next, we have 6.3 Mysterio. Now this is a tough fight. We gotta only do medium light on his block, because there is the, what's the node? The one where you get the falter if you do like the same input twice in a row. Gotta watch out for that, right? Gotta watch out for a lot of things in this fight. However, when you knock Mysterio down with a Spider-Verse champion, I believe, you crack his helmet, and then he like can't do things for a bit. Something like that. So we can do that. But we're really looking to build up to that special 2 to get some nice burst damage. But there we go. Helmet active, merely a crack. All right, so we're stopping like the flow of something. I'm not even entirely sure what that does. I just know you're supposed to do it. All right, so we threw the heavy attack to get the exhaustion first and foremost, but also to crack his helmet. And now at this point, we're building up. We got the special 2 going. The reflective gas is gone, and we're going for that special 2, and he's flushed right down the toilet, drop dead. And of course, again, it's Act 6 with a rank 5 6-star with suicide. So we got a bit of an advantage here, but like I said, it's nice to go in there and just curb stomp those guys with a completely maxed out 6-star now, right? Even after the Act 6 nerf, even after the second Act 6 nerf, even after the third Act 6 nerf, it's nice to go in there and just curb stomp these guys back from what they used to be like, right? Speaking of 6.1 Sabertooth here, oh my god, this guy is definitely a lot tougher than he's given credit for. But you can pretty much shut down everything he's got going on here with a Despair Mastery. He won't be regenning much, right? We can go ahead and go for the special 2. He's got Oscillate, so we'll bait out his power here. Nice. And now he's going to be defensive, right? He's going to be a little bit defensive, so we can stack on those Ruptures, and Scorpion's going to make it happen a lot faster. I love when they're like supposed to be defensive and they're still like, you know, attacking me. You know, they're still attacking me. But we got those reflexes like a cat, so we're good to go. Right? Look at that, a special attack while the armor phase is up. You love to see it. Go for the special 2, and now he's not throwing the special attack when he's in his fury phase, right? But we're just about done. We'll finish off with the special 2, flushed right down the toilet. Flushed! Up next, 6.2 Life Cycle Sim Supreme. This is a fun fight. We're going to throw those Mr. Fantastic free fights on because, I mean, why not, man? Just add insult to injury here with the Petrify on top of the Wither. He's just not doing anything. Go for the special 2. Oh my goodness gracious, so much damage. Done. Heavy attack for Life Cycle, and he is just about flushed, my dudes. He is just about flushed. One more special 2, one more heavy attack. Yeah, done. You're done. You're just done, my guy. You're just done. There's nothing you can do. Up next, we have 6.4 Captain Marvel movie. We're not running the suicides on this one either. This is an interesting fight where she's surprisingly very not the best for this fight, because like if she goes into binary or whatever, going to shrug off all of those debuffs. So we have to play it very carefully in a way. We're going to go for the special 2 here, right? Do a nice amount of burst damage when she's like under the amount of charges required to trigger binary. I forget the exact charge. Dex is special 2, nice, right? I looked it up at the time though. I was like, what's the strat that I need to get through this fight efficiently? And I was like, all right, that's what we got to do, and we did it. And it took a couple tries actually, but she's just about dead here, throwing the unblockable special 2 now. Thank God we know how to dex it, but we got through it. Not the best matchup, but we got through it all the same. Up next is a fun one. Now, I absolutely adore Spidey for ManThing. Very, very solid. Any buff immune is going to be great for ManThing. But this one has Flare. Flare and Power Shield, okay? This is going to be a very interesting fight here. We're taking a lot of damage from the Flare, but we're going to be doing a lot of damage back from the Power Shield and from the big bursts of damage. Oh my God, that Flare. That is a big, big, beefy explosion. Go for the special 1 to increase the burst. And look at how he's melting. Look at how he's melting here. He's done. He is just done. 262k. 262k on the burst from Flare. That is so much fun. Up next, we got a Goblin of the green kind. Green Goblin here. This is an interesting node combo. And at 7.1, it's like redlining and power something where you throw the special attack and you only lose half your power. That's essentially what this is, right? That's basically what's going on here. So what we're going to do here is just really take advantage of that and just stack up those special 2 withers and just do that big burst damage and all the other fun stuff. We stacked on our 20 wither, our ruptures to begin, right? And now we're kind of just going to go to down here. Beat out the special 1. Of course, he gets that lowered special cost as well, but that's also fine because that means we can just kind of, you know, push him over a bar of power that many more times. So, not going to complain too much, right? While we have that extra power gain between special 1 and special 2, and also the power reserve, right? Do that big burst of damage right there. Gonna have to bait out a special 1, but special 2, but we're gonna throw our special 1 to stack on that physical vulnerability, right? We got the special 2 dex. We're losing a lot of health in this fight, man, because he hits a little hard through the block, which is a little annoying. Goblin is very annoying to fight, man, especially with power reserve. It's a very annoying boss here, but he's just about flushed. He's just about flushed. One more special 2 and he's done. He's done. Speaking of goblins, let's check out the red kind, shall we? We got Red Goblin here. This is an unlimited power Red Goblin, so basically, every like 10 seconds or so, he's going to gain a Fury buff for every debuff he's had in the fight. So watch this. He's about to gain like 16 Furies, 18 Furies. Crazy. If we get hit, we're done. We're basically done. So we're going to be baiting out that special 1 while just pretty much pushing him above a bar of power every time. The thing with Spidey is that, you know, yeah, you hit his block and everything, but at the end of the day, you just use their power bar against them. That's what I love. That's what I love against the Mystic Champions, when you use the power bar against them, when their power bar is hidden 0, when it's crossing a bar of power multiple times, right, back and forth, and you're exploding those ruptures. It's just great, man. So against normal champions like this without passive power gain, you still want to be crossing them over a bar of power to explode all those ruptures. It's just such a wonderful design that I've loved so much since the first time I ever played him. It's just such a fun way to do damage and to use the champion, man. So yeah, really solid stuff. This is a big, annoying Red Goblin. This has 100 Furies now. 100 Furies. I wouldn't normally recommend a champion with this many debuffs for unlimited power. However, it's like fine. It's like fine. Just don't get hit. Don't get hit and you're fine. If you get hit one time, you're kind of done. But now there's the burnout node. So look at that, man. He's degenning, right? But also his power is stuck where it is, but it's done. It doesn't matter. He's flushed down the toilet. Up next, man, we have 6.4 Darkhawk. This is an interesting one. this is quite the interesting one right here. So this Darkhawk is definitely annoying. He's nowhere near as hard as he used to be now, right? Basically, what we want to do is just kind of hit that block, right? And he's got the power reserve as well, the node that Green Goblin had. So we're going to be taking advantage of that and just kind of using that to keep pushing him over that special one. You see that right there? Watch, check it out. We're going to go right in and another burst. Another burst, man. Another burst. And this is a prime example of why you really want your Spidey to be at SIG 200 if you're a big fan of the champion, right? He's obviously, of course, used Unawakened for his utility. But when it comes to damage, you get those ruptures back. So that's what the SIG ability really is for. Plus, you get increased combat power rate as well, which is great for him for spamming those special 2s. But how about this fight, man? With the power reserve, really, really solid stuff. And this Darkhawk is just about flushed down the toilet here. I reckon that a special 2 is probably going to finish him off if we want to go with that route. But it looks like we're going to push him over a bar one more time here, down to 8%. Come on, we can throw the special 2. There we go, baby. There we go. Up next, we have a fight that I don't enjoy doing. But this is the 6.1.6 Sentinel. It's an annoying fight. The fisticuffs in the beginning are very annoying. However, it's like an important fight in MCOC, in my opinion, because it unlocks Cavalier title, right, for the game. So it just always seems like one of those important fights to throw in. And I'm trying to like delay it here to like, you know, actually play with the Wither and everything. But again, Act 6 was nerfed so hard, and you know, we're using a rank 5. That we're doing so much damage just hitting him. Oh, we got hit by the special 2. Oh my god, we got hit by a combo. Oh my god. What are we doing here? What are we even doing here? Someone take my Spidey away from me, dude. I don't deserve it after that. But we got the Wither on. Now at this point, right, we want to be hitting this block. I'm like, dude, relax. Go back. Somebody hit your block, dude. Let me get these ruptures up, right? It's annoying. This annoying fight. It's just, it's not even a hard fight. It's like a long, annoying fight. When you're using a rank 5, it goes faster. But when you're not, it is a long and annoying fight, and that's what makes it hard, right? There are harder fights in all of Act 6, for sure. This one is just like long because he gets the analysis charges and then you can't crit him and all this fun stuff. But regardless, he's flushed down the toilet. One thing that's great about Spidey is he has very big crits, but he also doesn't rely on those crits because it's all that burst damage, man. It's that burst damage. Speaking of burst damage, we got Red Magneto here. This is another man with the aggressive node. So he's going to be very aggressive, as you can see. Just throwing those wild, unstoppable heavy attacks. Gee, guys, I wonder why they gave Magneto the aggressive node here. Is it because of that unstoppable and the heavy attack? It very well might be. All right? So stacking on those ruptures, as you can see, right? Stacking those things high, up to 20. Now, this node has the thing, I forget what it's called, man, but it gives you those fervor charges, where when you're far away, they go away. He has unblockable specials. He also has spite, but we're immune to spite, no buffs. But basically, you don't want to knock him down until you're above 10. But I did. Am I thinking of something else? I don't know. There we go. We use a special attack, and that converted 10. That's what it is, and it did a lot of damage. Okay, that's what it is. And where is that degen from? Doesn't matter. Big heavy attack crit. Nice 25k there from the Fury. Doesn't matter. Magneto's flushed right down the toilet, and that's honestly the important part here of the whole thing. So yeah, go read the notes for 7.2 Red Max. Up next, final fight of the video, 7.1 Black Widow, Claire freaking Voyant, right? So this one's got Footloose, and Claire is a very interesting champion to fight with Spidey because we're immune to dexterity, and that gives her power, but the Wither drains her power. Ain't that just something, right? So it's a very interesting interaction here. If you just watch her power bar here, watch. See, she gains power, but she also loses it. So once you stack on more exhaustions and you stack on more withers, that gets a lot more noticeable as well. But of course, with Footloose here, gotta watch out for some things. But basically, this fight is pretty much over. She's down to 50% health, and she only used 1 bar of power. So if we get her back to another bar of power, if we throw a special 2, we're gonna be straight chilling. We're going to be completely chilling here. So 5-hit combo, right into the special 2. Black Widow Clairvoyant, thank you for playing. Flushed right down the toilet. So, My dudes, that was the Rank 5 Spider-Man 2099 Ultimate Showcase. There are, of course, a lot of other fights he can do. He's decent in the Abyss. I used him for the Karina's Volume 3, or is it Volume 2? I don't even remember, man. When was that? But the Karina's Abyss Volume 2. Volume 2 it was. The Abyss, the Spider-Verse one. Very, very solid for Hyperion because of the power gain. Solid for Dormammu because he's buff immune, right? Solid for Old Man Logan because of Despair. Very, very solid champion for Abyss as well, man. Especially when you can build him up, you can stack up those physical vulnerabilities. And on top of that, he has a slow debuff on the Special 3, where if you play him properly, it will stay there for the entire fight, extending the fight through the time duration, right? The combo cap, so you can pretty much get solos with him in there as well. Also, #1 option, no exaggeration, for the final boss of Eternity of Pain finale, that Thanos, right? For the Karina's Challenge, Volume 3 is also part of the Spider-Verse heroes there. I have a rank 4 full yellow bar solo on my channel. Not looking to go all the way through it again, just to do it with the rank 5. It's going to be the exact same fight, just a slight, tiny bit faster. But yeah, incredible for that. Solid in the paths as well. Yeah, dude. Obviously, he is a top champion for Alliance War 2. Pretty underrated in Battlegrounds. This dude is just one of my favorite champions in the entire game. Could not be happier to have him up as my first rank 5. And to see him here at the top of the profile, it just feels really awesome, man. Because I love this guy, and I got a big, a long history with this guy on my channel, dude. So to see him up there is just great. Doom's kind of ruining the theme here. We have 3 spiders, and Dr. Doom's just kind of hanging out. It's kind of ruining the theme that we got going on. But first rank 5 was Spider-Man 2099. This right here is the first Spider-Man 2099 6-star rank 5 in the entire world. The first one that ever happened. I'm sure there are way more than one at this point, but at the time of rank up, he was first, so it felt really good to have that for a champion that is so special to me. That's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, drop your boy a big ol' like. Let me know what you think about Spider-Man 2099, just ripping through things left and right in the comment section below. And make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any future rank 5 videos coming to you, hopefully soon, man. Those floodgates better open up soon, because I gotta tell you, it feels like 7 stars are right around the corner with these new Paragon daily deals, right? So, drop a like, let me know what you think, hit the subscribe button, I'll be seeing you around.